Hello, I'm Dee, a 60-year-old woman. My husband passed away about 5 years ago, but I continue to work. I'm a mother of 5, and 4 of my children live in different states across the country, each with their own families. I feel incredibly blessed to have such a large and loving family. Jack, one of my kids, still resides in our hometown. He met his wife, Riley, at the local community college, and they got married soon after. I liked Riley, but I believed that my opinion didn't matter as long as Jack was happy. They pursued further education in their respective fields and eventually secured good jobs. When they decided to start a family, I was thrilled to have another grandchild, Jason. However, Riley was peculiar about my interactions with Jason, specifying when and how long I could visit. While this was understandable during the first year, it remained odd even when Jason turned 6. I respected their family dynamics, but over the years, limited interaction prevented me from forming a strong bond with Jason. Despite the distance, I made an effort to connect through our shared love for books. One day, out of the blue, I received a call from Jason at work, a rare occurrence given our infrequent conversations. Concerned, I asked if everything was okay. To my surprise, Jason was in tears, asking for my help. He claimed he needed saving from his devil mother. Shocked and confused, I couldn't reconcile Jason's description of Riley with the sweet person I knew. He shared distressing details about Riley's behavior when no one was around. As he abruptly ended the call, claiming someone was approaching, I felt a mix of confusion and concern. Though skeptical initially, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. Unable to ignore my instincts, I made the decision to purchase a hidden camera, justifying it as a response to Jason explicitly seeking my help. I wrestled with the ethical dilemma of spying on my son's family, but believed it was necessary to either confirm Jason's concerns or retrieve the camera if all was well. I held on to the hope that a sincere conversation could resolve any underlying issues. The camera took a couple of days to arrive, and once it did, I set it up. Fortunately, this camera provided both live and recorded footage, accessible through a convenient phone app. With the technicalities sorted, I called my son. "Hello, sweetie. How's everything?" "Everything's great, Mom. What about you?" "It's the same old, same old. Although I was wondering about something and thought I'd ask you about it." "Yeah, of course. Is everything okay?" Yes. I was just thinking that we haven't met in a long time, and I was wondering if I could swing by your place one day." "Of course, Mom. How about this Sunday?" "That works, but shouldn't you maybe check with Riley if that's okay? Lord knows I hated it when your dad made plans without asking me about it." "I know. Riley would be really happy to have you over. Don't worry, Mom." "All right then. I'll be there around 5 o'clock. That works? See you soon. Take care." Even though my visit had hidden motives, I was genuinely excited to spend time with my son, considering I rarely saw the rest of my family outside the holiday season. I tried not to intrude, respecting their busy lives. The weekend arrived swiftly, and I got ready early. Wanting to bring something, I picked up a nice bottle of wine and a couple of books for Jason, who loved to read. Arriving at my son's house, I was warmly greeted by all 3 of them. Jason's relief was evident, making me concerned again. Since he hadn't contacted me after the initial call, I was unsure of what he would say. We spent the next couple of hours talking, having dinner, and enjoying wine. Eventually, Jason excused himself to his room, so I decided to talk to him. Riley subtly tried to stop me, but I insisted. Jack intervened, allowing me to go talk to Jason. Shutting the door behind me, I handed him the books, and we discussed them for a while. I refrained from bringing up what he had mentioned, wanting him to initiate it. As we moved on to other topics, he grabbed a notebook and began writing. Showing it to me, it read, "Mom's listening, can't talk about anything." Unsure if he was serious or paranoid, I went along with it. During our conversation, he discreetly agreed to the hidden camera plan. I found a suitable spot to keep the camera, providing a good view of the room. After starting the recording and confirming the camera worked, I spent a little more time with Jason. When I mentioned it was getting late and that I should leave, I intentionally left my scarf behind as an excuse to return whenever necessary. I vaguely heard hurried footsteps moving away from the door, but I didn't dwell on it at the time. I hugged Jason goodbye, bid farewell to Jack and Riley downstairs, and headed home, exhausted but with a plan in motion. Back at home, I checked the camera and stayed up for an hour to read, keeping an eye on the footage. However, nothing significant happened that night. I repeated the process the next morning, observing the footage after Jason returned from school. Again, nothing alarming occurred, and doubts about Jason's claims crept in. I decided to give it one more day, planning to confront the situation if the footage revealed nothing. That night, as I monitored the footage while reading, I discovered the disturbing truth. Riley entered Jason's room with a stick, Jack trailing behind her. I immediately unmuted the video and heard Riley questioning Jason about his entire day, demanding extreme detail. When Jason stuttered, she harshly accused him of lying, making him put his palms out for swift raps against his knuckles. I witnessed the increasing frequency of her strikes as Jason sobbed, and Jack stood by watching. Disgusted and disappointed, I couldn't comprehend why Jack allowed his son to endure such unnecessary punishment. While the urge to intervene surged, I hesitated, unsure of what to say. Rushing over immediately would raise suspicions, but I recalled leaving my scarf behind. Though I had initially used it as an excuse to meet with Jason, it now served as a pretext to return. I dialed Jack's number. "Hey, Mom, is everything okay?" "Yes, no worries. I hope I'm not disturbing you." No, Riley and I were just saying goodnight to Jason." "Ah, all right. I wanted to tell you that I think I left my scarf in Jason's room last night. Do you think I could swing by tomorrow and pick it up?" "Why don't I drop it off for you right now?" "No, I'm way too tired. I'll fall asleep before you even get here. I had a long day at work." "All right, then why don't you swing by in the evening?" "I can't do that. I'm meeting up with friends for game night tomorrow. Riley and I won't be back till evening. Why don't you come by the day after?" "I need that scarf for tomorrow. We're having a Fed get-together." "Well, you could swing by in the afternoon. Jason will be home." "Lovely. I'll be there around 2. Good night, Mom." My heart raced as I fabricated the lie on the spot. At least my call served as a distraction, allowing Jack and Riley to discuss the situation without immediate interference. Whatever I had discussed with Jax seemed to have no effect on preventing Riley from punishing Jason. Before leaving Jason's room, Riley announced that he wouldn't receive any meals until dinner the next day. Appalled by this harsh decision, I wished I could dismiss it as an empty threat. But the reality was evident from the footage. Riley and Jack were likely to follow through. The following day, I took a day off from work, mentally preparing for the difficult conversation I knew I needed to have with Jason. Despite my assumption that he wouldn't want to continue living in such conditions, I felt it was essential to hear it from him before taking any action. Before heading to Jack's place, I ensured to pick up food for both of us. Upon arrival, Jason appeared on the verge of collapse, weakened and lethargic from the imposed hunger. I hastily provided him with his meal, watching as he devoured it. Seeing his suffering, my heart went out to him, and I was determined to make things better. After he finished eating, I spoke with him. "Did you see everything that happened?" "Yes, darling, and I'm so sorry for laughing at you earlier. I had no idea." "No, it's okay. I know Mom seems like the nicest person, but has she always been this way? The beatings only started recently, but the starving has been going on for a while. I just need to get a clearer understanding. Could you tell me why Jack isn't doing anything?" "He's too scared of Mom. He just follows her everywhere and listens to everything she says. Everything she wants, she gets." "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry that you've been dealing with this for a while. But I am curious, why didn't you eat anything at school?" "Mom didn't send me to school on days that she doesn't let me eat. I stay home. Mom measures how much of each food is there in the house, and if it's even 1 gram off when she gets back, I get punished. So she's starving you and jeopardizing your education. I'm definitely going to do my best to help you out, okay? I need you to tell me right now if you would like to come live with me. I'll take care of everything you need and keep you away from Mom and Dad." Of course, Grandma. Anywhere away from here will be great. I promise to only be good. Just please take me away from here. I promise I will, darling, but it will take some time. Do you think you can handle staying here for a little while longer? Yeah, I can. I've been living here for 12 years, so I can wait a little more. Carefully cleaning up and leaving no trace of the food, I ensured Riley wouldn't make things worse for Jason. After helping him clean up, I checked and double-checked to leave the place exactly as it had been. Upon returning home, I called Jack to let him know I had retrieved my scarf and thanked him for his cooperation. Next, I reached out to a friend specializing in family law. I explained the situation, and he cautioned me about the difficulty and duration of fighting for custody. He also mentioned the possibility of temporary custody arrangement and warned that Riley could change her behavior to regain custody. Acknowledging the challenges, I decided to pursue legal guardianship based on the evidence I had. Knowing Riley's profession as a counselor at a middle school, I believed she wouldn't want child abuse allegations affecting her job prospects. With this in mind, I kept a vigilant watch over the footage in the coming days. As I compiled all the evidence and organized the paperwork for a guardianship transfer, I chose the weekend to visit Jack's without prior notice. Jack seemed surprised to see me at the door. Mom, what are you doing here? I need to talk to you and Riley. I don't think now's a good time. Why? What's going on? Just family stuff. Hold on. How come you're suddenly over so frequently? Can I visit my son? I didn't think I needed special permission for that. No, I didn't mean it like that. It's just that you've taken a sudden interest in us this week. And it's weird because you rarely ever drop by before. It isn't really weird. I only came over today because I have something seriously important to talk about with the two of you. I don't think. What's that sound? I suspected Riley was doing something to Jason due to Jack's evasiveness. When I heard loud crying from Jason's room, I pushed Jack aside and walked into the house, determined to protect him. Speeding to Jason's room, I burst in to find him sobbing, clutching his face. Riley was breathing heavily, looking at him with malice. I ran to Jason, and when he calmed down, I noticed injuries. A red, swollen cheek, bleeding knuckles, and welts on his arms from a stick. A rage unlike any other surged within me. What kind of monster would hit a child so harshly? Determined to protect Jason, I went to the kitchen, grabbed a bag of frozen veggies, and returned to help reduce the swelling. Assured he was okay, I decided to take him to my place that day. Descending to talk to both of them, Riley looked mad, and Jack seemed uneasy. How dare you just barge into our home that way? Isn't it a good thing that I did? You're hitting your child, for crying out loud. What I do in my family is none of your business. Your child is my grandson, and he is a part of my family too. You're hurting him, and I can't let that go on. He may be your grandson, but you don't live with him. You don't know what a brat he is. I'm just disciplining him. Who cares if he's a brat? He's a child, and there are so many other ways to discipline a child other than hitting them. I mean, you of all people should know this. I don't believe in any of that gentle parenting crap. Leave me and my family alone. You got it. I'm afraid I can't do that. What do you mean? I handed Riley the papers needed to sign for the transfer of guardianship. They both stared at the papers in utter confusion. What do you mean by proof? I set up a hidden camera in Jason's room last week, and I have all the proof I need. Neither of your jobs will appreciate what you guys do, especially yours, Riley. If you want to have any income at all, I suggest that you sign the papers. You were spying on us. That's a gross violation of our privacy. I was only acting on information that I had. I needed to make sure Jason was doing all right. Mom, don't do this to us. Give us another chance. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. I don't want to hear any of it. I'm very disappointed in you, Jack. I raised you to be better than this. I'm taking Jason with me, and I expect the papers to be signed. If you don't, you know what will happen. I knew neither of them wanted to play with that kind of risk, so they didn't put up a fight when Jason and I walked out. I took Jason to get dinner and ice cream, trying my best to comfort him. In the weeks that followed, I gained legal guardianship of Jason. Riley and Jack cited plans to move to a different state and not wanting to disrupt Jason's education as reasons for transferring guardianship. They did end up moving, bringing relief. Jason is doing much better now, happier knowing he won't run into his parents for a long while. He's one of the kindest kids, thanking me every day. I intend to keep my promise to always protect him. Thank you for listening.